is Shay Scott, this is Seth, and today we're going to be experimenting with density cylinders at the Marion County Public Library.
Yeah, that's right. So what we got here is we got a simple glass cylinder, right? And then we got these liquids. Now, due to their mass content, each one of these liquids is a different density, which means some of them will sit on top of each other. Like, for instance, when you pull your dressing out of your fridge, how the oil has settled on top of the rest of it, except we're going to do that with 9 different liquids. So what you want to do is you want to get your cylinder, and I have one of these turkey dropper things, and you're going to fill it up with your honey first. This might take a hot minute. It's pretty slow. All right, and then once you got some in your dropper, you're going to take it, and you're going to want to make sure that you don't get it on the sides of your tube, and you're just going to drop it in there as best as you can. And this is probably going to take a while. Honey is a really thick liquid. It won't soak up too easy in your dropper. And just like I said, make sure you don't get it on the side of your tube.
I think whenever I squeeze it, it's just pushing all the honey that I actually got in there back out.
Probably is. I am just going to try pouring it in there.
I don't like that. Still off. Okay.
Don't get it on the sides. Now this will work for any cylinder size that you have. Mine's kind of large, but you can see I have a thin layer of honey down there now. Now what I did is we marked some of our cups that have like the same color liquids or clear liquids with food coloring. For like instance, our rubbing alcohol is green, our corn syrup is really dark blue. And all I did was I just took a plastic fork and stirred it around. Just be careful, you don't want to get your food coloring on any of your clothes. It never washes out. So I got my corn syrup here now. It's my second after honey. Just gonna pour that in there. That's probably not a good idea, actually.
Definitely not a good idea.
You want to hand me a cleaner?
Yeah. This isn't much easier, but I mean.
So I'm just gonna clean it out here. Okay. Now, while keep in mind it won't get 100% clean, it is density, so it doesn't matter if you have some of your leftover left in here because eventually it'll sink to the next level anyway. So now I got some corn syrup in my dropper. And I'm just gonna try and layer a thin bit of it over the honey so I can just dump the rest of the cup in.
This is scary. I don't want to get on the sides.
All right, now that we got the corn syrup, the next one we're doing is, I just have simple syrup. It is recommended that you use 100% maple syrup. I'm not quite sure if this will work, but I have confidence. Looks like it's working. Now, due to the fact that my corn syrup is a really dark blue, you can't really tell the difference, except for like a thin line right here.
You definitely don't want to shake it around.
Definitely do not shake it around. All right, so after you get done with your syrup and all the other three, you want to let it sit for a minute, make sure that they don't mix together, And then once you can see definite clear lines between all of your liquids, the next step is going to be milk. I've let my liquids sit for a minute now. Shay already moved on without me. I got some milk here, and we're just going to let it all pour in there, a little bit at a time. Now, you don't really have to worry too much about
The milk.
any of it mixing together because, like I said before, density.
Yeah.
It'll all separate itself in time. And then I got dish soap, I believe, is the next one. Yeah, dish soap. We're going to pour that in.
It looks kind of funky. But that's why we're experimenting. Because it looks
Okay. And you can see how it's turned blue here. Eventually all of that blue liquid will just float right up onto the top. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. But any of these items that you get, you can just get them all at your average convenience store. And milk you have at home, water you have at home. I'm sure you have vegetable oil at home, that kind of deal. So it's not very expensive, just a couple bucks for the supplies. You gotta get yourself a cylinder, get a turkey dropper, which I'm sure most people already have, and you can throw this stuff together by yourself at home. Doesn't require a lot. So after the dish soap, we got water. All right. And we're going to move on to vegetable oil.
No, let it sit a minute. Let it sit a minute.
Yeah.
You want me to pause now, huh?
Okay. So just keep in mind when you're doing this, I don't have a proper amount of liquids in my thing because when the splash comes down, it sinks into the milk. But if you do it carefully and correctly, you'll get layers like it should be, like how these first 4 layers are. You can see the difference between the honey, the corn syrup, the stuff like that, the milk. But unfortunately, our 3 mixed together. But like I said, experiment. I've never done this before. I don't believe Shay's ever done this before. We're just working our way through. Okay, so next, vegetable oil. Just gonna kind of pour it in there. A little bit at a time.
Very carefully so it doesn't mix, just in case this time.
Vegetable oil, we know for a fact, will settle to the top of the water and milk and all that. Like I said, pull a dressing out of your fridge. It's the same way. You have to shake it up. Oh, never shake these up. You will never get them back. Okay. After vegetable oil, it was rubbing alcohol. We're going to wait a second.
Mm-hmm. Mine don't look right.
You see, you can kind of see it from here, maybe. But if you look up real close, you can see bubbles coming up where the oil is settling. So I would suggest leaving it for a minute, just letting it settle. And we'll be back whenever it settles.
Okay.
All right, so we've waited a minute, let it settle some. As you can see, the top layer right here is looking a little more yellow. It's because the oil's coming up. So our next step would be rubbing alcohol. And I turned mine green. And I'm going to tilt mine a little bit like this, kind of let it run down the side so it doesn't mix too much.
Oh, come on.
Okay. And okay, so we learned something new here. These lighter liquids, as you can see, you probably should let it run down the side some, especially with a taller tube like this, so it doesn't, mix together. But now you can see there's a clear layer of rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
Then our last one is vegetable oil.
With mine, it's just going to take longer to settle. His is already settled, but it'll end up looking like his if we wait a little while.
Okay, so now you can see we have another layer on there, and that's your density cylinder. Just if you want to do this at home, just take our lessons here that we learned and apply them yourself. Don't do that. Do that, and just have fun with it. We're gonna let these settle for a couple of weeks, try and get this milk and this water and this soap to separate with the oil, and then we're gonna just have fun with it, I guess. Oh, enjoy.